Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our live session today. My name is Larissa. I'm an event planner at Reactor, joining you from Brazil. Before we start, I have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. This session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand here on the Reactor YouTube channel within 48 hours. Keep an eye on the chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for your questions. I'll now turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you all and welcome.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much, Larissa. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. So it's really great to see many people interested in learning more about the MVP program, or Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Program. And today is really about giving you a clear overview of what the program is, what it could mean for you. So if you're curious, if you're already contributing to a community, or if this feels like something you might want to explore also in the future, then you are exactly in the right place. And this session is meant to be informative, of course, but also inspiring and practical. And by the end, my goal is that you understand the program better and maybe feel also motivated or confident about your own path. And also a quick check-in the chat. Please feel free to drop your questions or comments anytime. We'll pick the questions as we go or afterwards if we don't have time. But first of all, I'd like to ask if this is the first time you are hearing about the MVP program, and also let us know where you are joining from. I think that's always very, very interesting. Okay, so let me quickly introduce you who'll be hearing from today. So we are joined by two amazing members of the MVP community. We'll have Jolanda Questaltieri, an MVP in Microsoft 365, and Rex de Koning, an MVP in Microsoft Azure. And later on, they'll share their personal journey. So they'll show how they got started in the community, what motivated them, and what being an MVP really looks like in life. And I'm really super excited about this part. And my name is Alicia, and I work as a senior engagement lead for the MVP program. So I work closely with the MVP communities every day, learning from them and helping the program grow. I'm based in Hamburg, Germany, but I'm originally Italian. Maybe you hear this from my accent. And so today, as I've mentioned at the beginning, we'll look at the MVP program for both sides. So you'll see the official view and the very human experience behind it through our co-speakers and our guests. Okay, and so let's move on. So here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. So first of all, we'll talk about the Microsoft MVP program, what it's about, what it's not. And then you'll hear real stories from the community through a easygoing, relaxed conversation with our guests, Jolanda and Rex. And after that, we'll look at how people can get started, how you can contribute in a way that feels right for you. And so think a bit of this session as a journey. So from understanding the program to seeing real examples to starting to imagine what your own good path could look like. So let's dive in. And so when we talk about most valuable professionals, so when we talk about MVPs, we're really talking about people. And the MVP program exists to recognize and thank exceptional community leaders. So people who share knowledge, support other people, and create real impact around Microsoft technologies. And MVPs come from all kinds of backgrounds. So we have developers in the program, we have IT professionals, we have architects, we have educators, creators. But what they all share is a passion for helping others and for strengthening the community. And this program has been around for over 30 years. quite a long time. And at its core, it's always been about people and their contributions. And this photo, for example, was taken during the MVP Summit in Redmond, Seattle, which is one of the highlights of being an MVP, as I hear from the people in the program. We'll talk a bit more about Summit, but just for you to know, once a year, MVPs from all over the world come together for a full week of keynotes, sessions, workshops, and community events. And it's a very vibrant, very special, very unique week. I'm always very excited to be on site. By the way, the next MVP Summit is coming up next week, so yeah, looking forward to be there. But I love this picture, and I think it really captures the spirit of the program. So, who are the MVPs? And I've mentioned this at the beginning a bit. So MVPs are definitely driven by curiosity. So they love learning, they love experimenting and sharing what they discover with other people. They enjoy also working with new and evolving technologies. Trying things out, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and then turning those experiences into something useful for the community. Of course, MVPs, as you can see on the slide, have a deep, growing knowledge of Microsoft products and services, so that's very important. And they use that knowledge to solve real-world problems for customers, for peers, for themselves, for the community. And also one important thing, because when I talk to people, this is something that I realize it's not crystal clear. MVPs are not Microsoft employees. Of course, they have a very special relationship with us, and we consider them like our best friends. But in the end, they are independent community leaders, so they are not employed by Microsoft. And that's why their perspective is so valuable, because it's an outside perspective. So we'll come back to this point, but I wanted to make this clear. And just a question for our audience. I'm curious to know, has anyone here ever been helped by an MVP? So did you have a chance to meet one of them, maybe at a community event, at a conference, or maybe you had a conversation, or you had a look at one of their blog posts? So if that's the case, feel free to post this in the chat. I also like this slide because the MVP program is super global. So you can see here, but it always feels very local. And there are around 4,000 MVPs across 96 countries, speaking 49 languages. And so this community truly reflects the diversity of the global tech ecosystem. But at the same time, MVPs are deeply connected to their local communities because they organize meetups, they speak at events, they write in their own language and support the people where they are. So I think this balance is really very cool and super important to us. It's a global reach, but built on local impact. And this slide is one of my favorites because it really brings everything together. And when people ask, what are Microsoft product leaders actually looking for? What are you looking for? This is it. MVPs contribute in many different ways, and you will also hear from our guests how they are contributing in the community. But it usually comes back to a few core themes, and you find them here on this slide. So we have strong technical expertise, of course, but paired with community leadership. We have sharing knowledge, helping others grow, that's super important, showing up consistently. And also MVPs play an important role in product feedback. This is what I was mentioning before, because they bring real world experience back to Microsoft. So they tell us what's working, what's confusing, what could be better, because they are out of there. They meet with the community, they talk with people, with customers, so they have great feedback for us. And finally, community health is super, super important. This is also something we expect from the MVPs, like helping create a welcoming, inclusive space where everybody feels comfortable, where people feel comfortable learning, asking questions, and participating. And that's also, I think, an interesting slide, and covering one question that I hear a lot: why should I want to become an MVP? And the answer is, I'd say it's about so much more than the title. And of course, there's the recognition and credibility if you get the award and if you become a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. But there's also early access to technology. You can see here to roadmaps, previews, and yes, there is the networking and global community, as you have seen, which is incredible. But I'd say what really stands out is the growth, and you grow technically, professionally, and personally, because you connect with people around the world who share your passion, and you get opportunities to collaborate, to learn, and contribute in ways you might not expect. And so when I talk to MVPs, I always hear that for many of them, the MVP award is like a journey. It's like a path. So it's not just an award, but it's a journey of learning, of sharing, and becoming part of something bigger. So becoming part of this incredible community. And yeah, and all right. So up to now, we have talked about what the MVP program is and what it's about. But now I want to change a bit and make it super real, because I think the program makes the most sense when you hear it through people's stories and through people who are actually in the program. And so with that, I'm really excited to bring in our two guests today. I've mentioned at the beginning, we have Jolanda Questaltieri, who is an MVP in Microsoft 365, and Rex de Koning, an MVP for Microsoft Azure. So I think they'll be here in a sec. Okay, great. Amazing. Thank you. Hi everyone. Hi, Jolanda. Hi,
Hi,
Ray. Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Cool.
very
Happy
good.
to be here with you and with Rex.
Yeah, I'm also excited to have you both here with us. And so I was thinking, this is how we'll do this. I've prepared a few questions and for you, and I'd love to hear more about your journey, how you started in the community, what you focused on, what surprised you, and then we'll also have a look at some of the questions in the chat. So for our attendees today, as you listen, drop what you're curious about our guests, and then we'll. So I'll have a look at the chat, and then we can pick some of your questions. Okay. So, sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. So I'd say let's start first of all with a quick introduction. Jolanda and Rex, do you want to share a few words or sentences about who you are, where you're from, what you do? Jolanda, do you want to start, ladies first, and then
Yes, of course. Thank
Rex?
you. Hello, I'm Jolanda Cuesta from Valladolid in Spain. Valladolid is a city in the center of the country, and there is an hour from here to Madrid by high-speed train. So it's important because Madrid is the capital of the country, and a lot of opportunities still there. And on the other hand, I am economist and also Excel expert, working now with Power Platform in a company called Creativity Spark. Also, I am teacher both online and on site. I like so much to teach and to share my knowledge.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jolanda. Rex, do you want to share a few words about you?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Rex Koning. I live in the Netherlands. I just turned 50. I've been in IT for way too long, about 30 years now, I think. I'm an MVP in Azure networking for about 2 years now, since June 2024. Um, just like Jolanda, I'm also a trainer. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. And basically, in my daily life, I do everything related to Azure infrastructure and networking. The place I'm living in is a very small town. It's on the east side of the Netherlands, right next to the German border. It's about 600 meters from here. But yeah, I'll just do Dutch and English for languages for now.
Yeah, I remember you don't live far away from Germany, Rex. So you told me you understand a bit of German. Well, you can
I can understand most of it. Just talking is a different story.
Yeah. I can relate to that. So I I get it. It's a
language.
It's not an easy language. Let's put it that way. Okay, so then let's dive in a bit. So Jolanda, I have a question for you, and I'd say take us back to the beginning. So what were we doing in the community before you became an MVP, and also why you decided to become an MVP. So what made you start sharing your knowledge publicly? Take us back a bit.
Yes, I was aware a lot of years ago. In fact, it was in 2014, and it's year by year I have been aware again. When I applied for the first time, I was working as an accountant, and I began a blog. My blog is called, in Spanish, Excel Contabilidad y TIC, and it is about Excel and accountancy. So most of the tips, most of the formulas, etc., that I learned, I decided to write and put it in my blog so I can review that post and also have on my hand all the information, and not only for me, but also for everyone who needs help in this related subject. So that is the reason in which, or the path in which I began. And by that years, the most common way to share knowledge was writing. So my contribution in the beginning was a post in my blog, and also to teach on site. 2014.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of time. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So you started in the community because you wanted to help people. So this is what
Yes,
I understand. Okay.
I want to help people, but also I want to help my. So,
Yourself, yes.
so the blog was a notebook in which I could have all my formulas, all my exercises, all my
Mhm.
expertise online. So not only me, but all the people could share and learn with that contributions in the beginning.
Yeah, makes sense. And so when you think about your contributions, that's a bit like a follow-up question. What's one format that worked especially well for you? So I'm hearing from you writing played like a key role.
Yes.
Um, you have talked about teaching, maybe
Mm.
speaking. Um,
I think most of the times in that years was easier to have a blog and to write posts. But also year by year, I was trying different formats. And for example, one of the next formats I took was YouTube channel, and also to teach both online and on site, because when you teach something, you have learned a lot about that question, that subject, and it's you are more confident and it's easier to share with other people.
Yes, right. You learn, you definitely learn by explaining things to other people. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good point. So it was writing, it was teaching, speaking, creating resources for others. Okay. And yeah, I'm curious, Rex. I this would be the same question for you. What did getting started look like for you in practice, and also what helped you stay consistent over time? Because I mean, it takes a lot of time to write blog posts, creating resources, and Jolanda, for example, was saying. So how could you keep your work consistent month after month and year after year? I think I'm curious about this.
Yeah. Well, my story was a bit different than Yolanda's. Uh, I mostly do events and organizing events, being volunteer at events, and speaking at events. So I'm really rubbish at writing blogs and that kind of stuff. So for me, where it started was with events. So I first started going to events, user groups as an attendee, just going there, getting information from people, starting to know people. From there, I grew into going to international events, met a lot more people, liked it really a whole lot. And then someday, somebody asked me, "Well, we see you at all these events. You're here anyway. Would you like to help out sometime?" Yeah, sure. So I started as a volunteer. That started for me now 4 years ago. And since that time, I've basically been volunteer on events all throughout Europe. From there, I also got more confidence and also started speaking at events. So now I do sessions about mostly Azure networking in my case. And besides that, because it grows, you get to know more people, you get more involved with events. And I'm now also co-organizer of a couple of events in Europe. So that can grow pretty quick if you don't take care of yourself. Because the community is so great and it keeps on growing. But yeah, there's a lot to do. So that's how I started, and that's how I do my contributions mostly. And what you said about being consistent, because especially when writing, being consistent, for me that's very difficult. But in the case of events, staying consistent is fairly easy because it's just something that I love to do and that I would also do if I wasn't an MVP. So for me, in that case, it's just doing what you love, and then you will stay consistent without problems. And yeah, and basically how I started with going. So I started with going to the events, and on my way, well, not on my way to become an MVP, because I had no plans of becoming an MVP, because I thought that was way out of reach for me. But yeah, at some time, yeah, people. Well, you talk to people, so people come to you. They started asking me things about the MVP program, how I liked being in it. Also, people from Microsoft asked what I thought of the MVP program and how I liked it. But I kept saying, well, I'm not an MVP. I probably will never be one, so I have no idea. Yeah, that's how it goes. But then, and on some, well, I would say a rainy Sunday afternoon at an event in the UK, I was basically, well, not really cornered, but approached by two people that I know very well, two MVPs, and they basically said, "We're going to make sure you're going to become an MVP. We're going to work with you." So we did a lot of sessions, because an MVP is not all about doing all your technical stuff, but becoming an MVP is a whole journey by itself. So they worked with me on that, and we did a lot of practice things and going over things. And yeah, until the time that well, of course, I knew the email was coming, but I received the email that I was nominated for the MVP program. And then a lot of, well, paperwork starts, and waiting till the final email arrives. And luckily, I was invited into the program, which I would never thought would happen, but here we are.
Yes. And it's something that you have to love a lot, because there is a lot of time to spend in this way, in this path. So I think it's very important to be consistent, as Res said.
Yes, I agree, and I also I liked your point, Rex, when you were saying you need to do something, or your suggestion is to do something you love and you have a passion for, because then it's easier to keep this consistent and to continue doing that. Of course, if you do something you don't like, then maybe you start because you think, okay, I have to, but then at some point you stop. So
Yeah.
and
also,
yes.
of course, when you become an MVP, you have to do a yearly renewal. It's not something you become MVP and you're an MVP for life.
Yes.
And to renew your MVP, you have to stay up to date with all the new technology, of course, but also the consistency of your contributions, so your events, your blogs, your vlogs, whatever you're doing, needs to be there. And
Yes.
if you're doing things that you love, that's easy to do. But if you just do it to get the MVP title, it's probably going to be very hard to keep up to date with everything, because it also takes a lot of free time, basically, because it's all community work. So you have to do it mostly outside of working hours, in the weekends, at nights. So yeah, a lot of people forget about that.
Yes, and on holiday, Rex.
Yeah.
The holiday.
Also,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's that's interesting. Two different stories. How you started in the community, and also two different ways to contribute. No, I see, Jolanda, for you it was more writing, for Rex more events. And we'll also talk about, so I'll talk a bit later about how MVPs can contribute. And you're right, you don't need to do everything, but MVPs contribute in different ways. But back to you, Rex. If you if you could go back in time and basically tell year one community Rex one thing, what would you do earlier, or what would you do differently? Is there something you change if you could go back?
Yeah, well, if I could go back, there were a couple of things that I would change. First of all, I would have started doing this stuff way sooner. But the main thing that I didn't start sooner is because I was basically from myself. I'm very introverted, very quiet, don't talk a lot. So about 6-7 years ago now, I started really working on myself, becoming an MCT, and a certified trainer, for example, to stand in
Yes.
front of groups, to talk in front of people, and just grow myself to a different level. And that's also why I started speaking at public speaking at events, sorry. Just to improve myself and to get out there and grow. And looking back at it, that's certainly something that I should have done, well, 30 years ago, basically. But on the other hand, it's something that I'm very proud of, just because of all the growth that I've done and the things that I do now. So yeah, basically that just starts sooner, and so that I could enjoy it even longer than I can do it now.
And be brave. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for sharing this. Like, I wouldn't say you are shy, because
No.
I talk, every time I talk with
That's why it's a process.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, of course, yes, of course. Okay. Thank you for your stories, and I think now we can make it very practical. So for both of you, I have one question. I think it's interesting for our audience here. So if someone wants to aim for the MVP path, so if someone here if someone is listening and is interested in becoming an MVP, they've heard there's a lot of work behind, but what's a realistic first step they can take, let's say in the first 30 days? So would you say find a local meetup and go and be brave and talk, so focus on public speaking, or would you say start a blog, as Jolanda has done?
In my
What's your
opinion,
suggestion? Yeah.
in my opinion, a concrete idea about this is not to postpone the decision. So it depends on the person, of the skill, of the person's skill, of course. But for example, if you are good at writing or by writing, you can start with a post, or you can start with LinkedIn newsletter, or you can start with more traditional way. But perhaps you love to make videos, so I recommend you to start a YouTube channel, or perhaps to begin with TikTok. Who knows? Now young people are in another social media, different or more actual. So it's depend basically of the skill of the person. But one thing I recommend is, as we said, to be consistent and don't give up, because perhaps you begin with a lot of enthusiasm, but if you want to run a lot, it's going to be worse. So step by step, yes, to have this first step, and perhaps 1 or 2 months after, to begin another way. I thought, as Rex, one next step could be to organize a small event, not a big event, something in your community, in your city, So both contribution, I think it's a good way to begin and to be present. And one more thing I want to say is another piece of advice, and it is that you people don't need to know all about the subject. For example, for Rex, Azure, for me, Excel, but it's important that you be confident in that area. But it's not necessary to be the higher or highest expert in the world. No, it's better to be the capacity of communicate and of sharing your expertise.
Yeah, to focus on a smaller area, maybe without being the expert for everything. And then, as I understand you, Jolanda, so it's more to be more like think about what you like, what's your passion, and maybe try a couple of things at the beginning. So as you were saying, maybe
Yes.
a small event or a small meetup.
Mhm.
Okay, this makes sense.
And the second
Sorry.
idea, you don't need to be the person who knows the most about Excel. You don't need to be the person who knows the most about Azure. But it's important to have the possibility, the skills to communicate well.
What you know to others. Yes, I agree. And Rex, what would you say? What's your suggestion to someone who is starting?
Well, a lot of the same things as Jolanda just mentioned. But like I said, do the things that you love because that's easy to do. I would say start going to user group, go to events, just see what's happening there, learn the vibe, learn the people, and then start from there. And for example, you might decide you want to go start organizing an event or volunteering event, speaking at an event. But you can grow from there. But then at least you know a bit what's happening there. I'm gonna post some links in the chat.
Yes, thank you.
It's a good point. Yes.
Well, I'll post them later because for some reason it doesn't work. But anyway, the links that I'm gonna post there is about a webinar we're doing on April 15th. And that's from Scottish Summit, and that's how you can create an abstract or how you submit a session to an event if you want to start speaking. I'll also share a link for something called the Mentoring Hub. And the Mentoring Hub is also a charity, and it's a group of people, mostly MVPs, who do mentoring and also can help you on the way to becoming an MVP, giving you tips and tricks and working from there.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I just also want to mention, I already mentioned Scottish Summit. We're also doing a new speaker workshop there in October. It will go live on the site, I think, in about a month. But that's a full day workshop where we teach you how to write sessions, how to present sessions, how you can do your presentations, and how your presentations come over to the audience in the best way.
Oh, that's cool.
So that would be something that I would suggest doing. But again, that's just from my point of view because I work in the events.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's a big help. Rex, I'll also have a look at the links when you've posted them. Thank you.
Are you going to Seattle, Rex?
I am. Yes, I'm flying there on Sunday.
MVP Summit. Yes.
Alice also, and
Yes, I'll be there. Yes. I'm very excited already. So it's to be.
Is it your first time in Seattle, Alice? No.
No, it's oh my gosh, I think it's my I don't know if third or fourth summit. I've been there a couple of times, not too much, but yes, I've been, and summit makes me always very energized and
Yes,
very vibrant, very cool.
I was there 10 years ago, more or less.
Yeah, I remember you've mentioned this. We'll miss you, Jolanda.
No.
Yeah, we will miss you. Okay. So I have another question for Rex. I was thinking, Rex, because you also, I'm sure at events you meet many people, or many different people when you organize meetups or conferences, and Scottish Summit is a big event. What's a common misconception that people have about becoming an MVP? What do you think? Because I've mentioned at the beginning, some people think MVPs are Microsoft employees. Then we were talking about you don't need to know everything. So maybe some people think, okay, you need to know absolutely everything, otherwise you cannot apply. Are there some other misconceptions? What do you think, or what you say?
Yeah, I think there are a couple, to be honest. They have been mentioned before. But like you said, you don't have to be the world's leading expert. There are always people who know more about subjects than you do. You can say what you want, but that's always true. And but the big trick is you just need to know these people basically, and that's something that most of the MVPs are very good at, is getting to know people, networking. That's also one of the reasons why I go to all these events, just to get to know people, so that when I have a problem or my company has a problem, even if I don't know a solution for something, I can always reach out to somebody in my network, ask them a question, and 9 out of 10 times they know the answer. And if they don't know the answer, they probably know somebody who does know the answer. So then you can get introduced to somebody else again, and extend your network and get an answer to your question. But it's definitely not true that every MVP is a world leading expert. Of course, there are MVPs that are the experts and leading experts, but it's not that everybody is that way. And another thing that I hear a lot, and was also mentioned before, that once you become an MVP, you're set for life. Yeah, like mentioned, that's not the case. You have to do a yearly renewal. So you basically have to do the work, between quotes, because you're doing what you love, so it's not work. But you have to do it every year, so you have to be consistent, like we mentioned before. And every year you get what's the word? Basically, well, just is not a word, but weight on your contributions, to see if you live up to the requirements of the program, and if you will get rewarded or not. And also the thing is, just because it takes a lot of time, it's also people think, well, it's something that you just do on the side. You write a couple of blocks and that's it. But it really takes a lot of time if you want to do it consistently. If you go to events, if you write blogs, if you want to write a decent blog, it's just not writing down a lot of words. There's a lot of experimenting, a lot of research going into it, and that's all things that people don't see. But it's all time that comes out of your private life. So it really has an impact on your private life. So your partner has to be on board with it. If you have kids, they have to be basically on board with it. But it's all things you have to take in account. It's awesome to do, but yeah, be aware that it takes some time.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you mentioning this, Rex. I agree. So it's it's a lot of time that MVPs invest in their community work. So that's that's definitely true. And I have a last question for both of you. I'm checking here on the chat. I don't see many questions, so I see some questions about the nominations referral. I'll mention something regarding this in a few minutes. But there are different people who are from Valladolid, Jolanda, or who have been there. So I have never been there, but I've heard it's a beautiful city. So I definitely on my to-do list for next trip. But anyway,
No.
I come to visit you.
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask you is, what's one thing that you have learned from being around other MVPs that maybe changed the way you work with the community, in the community, or maybe changed your life? Yeah, I'd be curious about this one. If you want to share, both of you.
Yes, I want to talk about Women for Technical Talks. It's a community founded by me and another women in 2020, and we work supporting women to be a speaker in tech communities. So we have two events in 1 year. We have two events, one's on site and the other one online. And I can say that I'm very proud because more of 40 sorry, women have been speaking for first time with our community Women for Technical Talks. And also I'm very proud and very grateful with the MVP award in all these years because professionally I have reached a lot of opportunities in different companies and with different projects, very important and very interesting for me. And finally, I was travel a lot with the MVP family. I have been in Seattle, but also in Lisbon, Rome, Madrid, and Barcelona, because there was an annual event in the region, in the different regions, not only the big event in Seattle. And finally, as we were saying before, most of the people that you know as being MVP become to be close friend in your life. So really, I am very happy and very proud to be part of the MVP family.
That's very nice, Jolanda, and I also like. Sorry.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I know, and I like the initiative you have launched with some other women for women. I think it's so. You meet? Do you organize regular meetups in Spanish? I suppose.
Yes.
Okay.
We have two big events, two. One online and other online. The next event is in June.
Okay.
And that is on site.
Okay.
The online event is in November.
If you want, you can post the links in the chat.
Yes, we have a web and also we have a group, a LinkedIn group. I'm going to, yes.
Yes, you can post the links. Thank you so much. And Rex, quickly to you. how did your life change through the MVP award? If there's something which changed.
Well, basically, my life didn't change that much since becoming an MVP, as
Yes.
I'm still doing the same things as before becoming an MVP. But yeah, but in the whole run up of doing things, of course, we found out that how great the community really is, how close everybody is, how easy it is to talk to people. I've met a lot of great new friends during that time. And of course, there are some advantages of being an MVP. Let's be honest. One of the things, like mentioned, on Sunday, I'm flying to Seattle. Well, flying to Seattle and then going to Redmond for the MVP summit at Microsoft Campus.
Yes.
But another thing that I'm very proud of it, that I got the chance last Ignite in San Francisco to be part of the Azure networking booth at the event. So alongside all the Azure networking PMs. So that was one of the highlights for me, and that's something that probably would never happen if you weren't an MVP.
Yes, I agree with you.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your stories and your background. And feel free to, as I said, to post some links in the chat for the audience. I think I'll move on because I saw there were some questions regarding the nomination process, who can be nominated, who is the nominator, and I definitely have some links as resources on the slide. So I'll move on. But thank you, Jolanda, thank you, Rex,
Alex,
for your yes.
You're very welcome.
I want to say that
Please.
Res and I can help other people to be nominated. In fact, I think that two or three person has become MVP, and I help them because I postulate. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So people can. I've posted here your LinkedIn profiles here on this slide.
Yes, I do.
So people can reach out to you and Rex. I'd say if are interested in the MVP program, and if that's okay.
Definitely, yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Alicia.
No, thank you. Thank you for being with us. And I'll move on so that we also check in here the time. And before we jump into the how of the process, and again, there were a couple of questions in the chat.
Yes.
I want to land one big message from today, which relates to what Rex and what you, Rex, was saying also, and also Jolanda, because a lot of people ask, how do I get started? And the best answer is very simple. And we've talked about this. Be yourself, and that's your superpower. And as we've seen, there is not one perfect MVP journey or one perfect MVP path or a standard MVP path, let's say. But the most sustainable contributions come from doing what you genuinely enjoy, what you love, because that's what you'll keep showing up for. And so, as we've seen with our with Jolanda, with Rex, if you love writing, start a blog or publish articles. If you like speaking, find a user group, find a meetup where you can start and give some talks. If you are learning something new, then share your journey, because it is true that there's a lot how to content out of there, but what truly stands out is your personal journey, how you have faced a challenge, what you have tried, what worked, what didn't, and what you have learned helping other people. So again, be yourself, and this is literally your superpower. And here we make it very practical. So MVP, and I see someone posted on the chat, and that's correct. So MVPs are nominated by, or community leaders are nominated by other MVPs, so by current MVPs and Microsoft employees. So one of those people needs to start the nomination. And what does it mean in practice? So it means build real relationships in the community. Rex was talking about events, about talking at meetups, show up consistently, collaborate, partner. Because over time, people start noticing your impact, as it was the case for Rex. And that's usually how nominations happen. And also, once a nomination is submitted on the MVP community side, and I'll share the link with you in a sec, you'll receive an email. That's the email Rex was referring to, where you are asked to provide details of what you have done in the community the past 12 months. So, for example, blog post, for example, speaking, open source, and so on, and other community activities. And after you submit your contributions, the nominations goes into review. And the key to know here is that the process can take some time because multiple teams at Microsoft carefully review every nomination to keep the program standard high. So it's not easy to become an MVP because you see MVPs do a lot of things. So the bar in the program is pretty high. And when it comes to the decision, a final decision can take up to 90 days, more or less. And reviews happen monthly, which is why you'll see new MVPs joining regularly throughout the year, because we have every month new nominations, reviews process, and then new MVPs who join the program. And also an important thing to mention here is that if you're not selected the first time, it's not the end of the world. So please don't be too sad. We say this many times. It happens, and you can reapply after 6 months. So again, after 6 months, you can give it a second try. And I say the best next step is simply to keep building consistent impact. Keep on doing what you have started.
And one thing, excuse me, Alice.
Yes.
It's important that your contributions are for free.
Yes, needs to be community work, exactly. Yes, not part of your daily job. Yes, that's correct. And I have here just a quick overview of the MVP award categories, because I think maybe, I don't know if everybody's familiar with this one, but MVPs are recognized in a specific award category. So Jolanda mentioned Excel, Rex, Azure, and those are technical areas that reflect your main expertise and your knowledge. So when you apply for the MVP award, you'll need to choose one of those categories, or at most two. And I have here the link to our website, so you can click on the link for more details. And and here are the resources that I wanted to share with you. We also have Jolanda and Rex as resources if you are interested in joining the MVP family. Feel free to reach out to them, to reach out to me. You find me on LinkedIn. So I'm also available if you need more info. But I really hope this session today gave you some clarity and also some inspiration. And again, I posted here some useful links. We have the official MVP program page. This is super important. You'll find there a lot of information. You'll find our FAQs, where we explain a lot about the nomination process, the review process, the award categories. You'll also have the chance to look for MVPs in your region or in your in your
the
technology area, yeah, your expertise. So you can search for them and then reach out to them so you can find who those people are. And also, I've also here the link of the Microsoft Reactor where our colleagues host regular events where you can learn and connect and meet with people. And I hope these all these resources are useful. Again, you'll find a lot of info about benefits, about expectations. So please have a look at these websites, and feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to know more, or if you're interested in applying. And yes, and I think that's the the end of our session. That's again another picture from MVP Summit. We have talked a lot about Summit today, but once again a big thank you to Jolanda, to Rex, our guests, for sharing their stories and their perspectives, and also thank you so much everybody for spending your time with us. If you take one thing away, let it be this: start in a way that feels authentic to you, and try to keep it consistent over time and step by step. And and with that, thanks again, and I hope to see you at a future Reactor event. Have a great rest of your day, of your morning, of your night, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Rex.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jolanda. Thank you,
Bye
Rex.
bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining, and thanks to our speakers for today. Here at the Reactor, we are always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. So if you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find the link to our survey on the screen or in the chat, and we'll see you in the next one.